we just jump straight in?
Yeah.
And just give everybody a heads up that there's a massive giveaway coming. Do we even what date is this going to go out? I do not know.
This episode, I don't know either. I don't know.
Okay, so we're recording this at the end of August. So, yeah. Well, anyway, just to give everybody a shout. Oh, by the way, hello, everybody. Hoping you're doing great. We are going to be doing a massive giveaway, and it's coming up in a few weeks' time. And we're giving away some extreme basses. So I wanted to just give you a heads up about it now. We haven't got all of the basses nailed down yet, but I can give you 3. I'll give you three bases that we're giving away.
Just right at the top of the pod, you're going to give us 3?
I'm going to right at the top of the pod. Ooh. Hold on to your pants, people. Hold on to your socks because they might shoot off. I hit somebody in the face.
Hold on to your trousers or your pants or both, or it's confusing.
Both. Oh, yeah. What do you got? When somebody said hold on to your pants, do you think they're undercrackers or not? Do you guys call them your undercrackers?
No one says undercrackers.
Now you do.
No one.
Feel free to use that at will.
Oh, thank you. Now you've just changed all of American culture. Undercrackers it is, dude. Hold on to your pants? Yeah, that's to me, that's holding on to your jeans. Correct?
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, I always...
For you, is it holding on to your undercrackers?
Yeah, because if your pants fly off, at least you've still got your undercrackers on. Anyway, right, okay, so here's 3 bases, and I think we're giving away 5 or 6 bases. Here's 3.
Okay.
So we're giving away, for sure, upcoming in a few weeks' time. Oh, Alan's delivering as well. The fries.
Oh, the fries.
Here. Do you know that this is the first commercial chocolate bar that was ever made? Fries, peppermint cream. There you go.
That is a delicious chocolate bar, by the way.
It is a delicious chocolate bar.
It is so delicious. Yes. Yeah. I've had those over there. And quick aside.
We
don't have them. We do not have that. We do not have that. In fact, we don't have the most delicious chocolate. You guys do. All the Cadbury shit that is over there, we don't have that.
You don't have
none of it.
Do you have Hershey's? Yeah.
Yeah. But I heard Hershey's is not, to me, it is not in the same league at all.
As Cadbury's?
No.
Oh.
And your Cadbury tastes different than ours. The stuff that we have, you get the odd, dairy milk bar in a weird part of the grocery store. And if you buy that and you think you're going to have that same experience that you have over in the UK, you are sorely mistaken, my friend.
We've got aisles of Cadbury's.
Oh, and it's just the best. I'm there and I'm just like a Boost, dude. Boost is my favorite.
Well, Lion Bar. Do you like Lion Bars?
I love it all. Does the Lion have raisins in it?
It used to have peanuts in it, but they changed it. No peanuts anymore. No peanuts. They've gone. Alan, welcome to the podcast, by the way. They have the Lion Bar at the minute. Yeah, because it used to be peanuts, didn't it? Now it's like biscuity. It's sort of like wafer and biscuit, and it's badass, man. Lion Bar is one of my favorite.
It's all so delicious. I had one that had raisins in it, and I know that that's controversial in chocolate and in desserts in general, but I quite liked it.
Oh, dude, I love raisins in chocolate.
Yeah.
I love raisins in chocolate. I'm trying to think of, there is a bar, isn't there, with raisins in, like a real awesome, it's not a Boost. Don't think Boosts have got raisins in, have they?
No, sir. I've had my fair share of Boosts, not a raisin to be found in there.
Yeah, exactly. It's like he's been foraging in Boost bars.
Yeah, there was a time that I went to the store.
Beard, dude.
Oh, yeah. Well,
shit,
dude.
What's going on?
Silver Fox is what's going on.
That's what I'm going to tell Lisa. Ow! Anyway.
No, we're not getting away from this Boost story real quick. I went and I bought a big pack of Boost. I thought that thing was going to last me the whole trip. I don't know how many bars were in the pack, but a lot.
A lot.
And it was a day off of shooting. I was cruising around Leeds. I just had the pack of Boost with me. I mean, your boy needs a snack occasionally. A little sugar pick-me-up during the day. Oh, yeah. I ate them all in the day. Yeah.
Outlandish.
It's awful.
I am still on my weird diet, by the way, if anybody. But we're in the studio, and Ian damn well knows that when you're in the studio, like, you're stepping into a new world. So new rules apply. Yeah. Right. What happens in the studio stays in the studio.
Not anymore.
This freaking chocolate bar staying in the studio. Anyway, as I munch on this beautiful chocolate bar, here's what we're giving away. Giveaway upcoming. We haven't done one for a while either. Mm-hmm. Okay, so in reverse order of awesomeness, and again, these are just 3 of the bases we're giving away. We're giving away a 6-string, beautiful charcoal grey F bass custom, and it's awesome.
Dude, I know that bass. That bass is crazy. Yes.
It's crazy, yeah. It looks amazing, yeah. So 6-string, charcoal grey, F bass. Retails at, I don't know, like a kidney.
A gazillion dollars, yes.
Yeah, retails like kidney. Next up is a Ken Smith, brand new Ken Smith 5-string.
I know that one as well.
The full beans, all of the beans, and then some.
And that's your other kidney.
Amazing. Yeah, and then the pièce de résistance, whatever the shit that means. Anyway, I'm gonna have. So I'm holding up the banana base, right? Dude. I'm holding up the banana base in front of me.
No, you're not giving the banana base. You cannot. You can't.
I'm not giving away the banana base, but I am going to commission F Bass to build an exact replica of this bass.
Ah, dude, yes.
And whoever wins it, exact replica of this bass. Whoever wins it, they can have it banana colored if they want. Or they can choose a different color. If they don't want to go full nana, they can choose a color of their choice. But other than that, I'm going to get a full replica of this bass made. And
wow, how dare they though? If they don't choose banana, how dare they?
The giveaway is actually it's kind of at the same time, around the same time that we're releasing the album. And so we wanted to kind of sort of like mix the two together. Okay, so like we're mixing the two together. Hey, if you like the bass that I did the album with, we've got this giveaway going on. I'm going to give away an exact replica of that banana bass. I'm going to get it built for you, the winner, and you can have it in banana or the color of your choice. So that's that's what we do for the giveaway. That's coming up. I think end of September, beginning of October, around that time. So yeah. So make sure that everybody's like keeping a lookout on your inbox, because that email is going to be coming out.
I can't believe that you're going to eat this chocolate bar on the podcast. Do you know that is a huge podcast faux pas? Just chowing down right on the. This is Scott still on my diet, divine. This is Scott still on my diet, but I'm at the studio, so I get to eat chocolate bars, divine.
This is my carnivore diet. And this is one meaty chocolate bar. Let me tell you, it is meaty.
Hey, I got to tell you, though, you are looking good. You're looking good. How do you feel? You've been doing this diet for a long time. You're just down in this chocolate bar.
Yeah, so if anybody doesn't know, I've been doing a carnivore diet for 30 days. I'm not at 30 days yet, but I'm a fair way in. I have sort of like fallen off the wagon a couple of times.
That's all good.
like right now. But for the most part, like 95% of the last sort of like 3 weeks, I've just eaten like meat, full carnivore diet. And the reason I do it very regularly. The reason I do it is because I suffer from inflammation. And it's a really great way for me to cut out all of the inflammation out of my body, and it kind of sort of like brings me back to ground zero again. So, so it's great sort of like in terms of my playing, in terms of everything, actually, my entire body. And the other benefit of it is that you definitely lose a few inches around the midsection as well. Yeah. That's all also a benefit as well. Yeah. So I'm feeling great, man. Climbed a mountain at the weekend.
Dude,
took story of Helvellyn. So for anybody that doesn't know, we've got a mountain range. Well, there's various mountains in England, but we've got a mountain range called the Lake District up in the north of England. For you Game of Thrones fans, just under the wall,
cool.
Just south of the wall. The wall actually does exist. It's called Hadrian's Wall, that was built by a like a friendly Roman chap called Hadrian, and they named the wall after him, as you would expect. But anyway, they've got the Lake District, and Scafell is the biggest. That's the biggest mountain in England, and we did Helvellyn, which is a second. And it was a blast because we'd never done anything like that. We've been on hikes and stuff like that, but not, we haven't been walking for like 6 hours. And I was saying to Ian earlier, it was basically like the first section of it, like the route that we picked to go up it, was like, freaking it was like going up a really steep staircase for an hour and a half.
Good Lord.
It was a blast. It was amazing. So what we're going to try and do before October, before the weather starts turning, although we've had a shit summer, to be honest. So I don't know if we're going to get any more, but like any decent weather. But what we're going to try and do is we're going to try and do another walk, probably up Helvellyn again, and we're going to do a overnight camp as well up there. So we're like proper wild camping up there in the middle of nowhere. Temperature's going to drop up there. It's going to be freaking awesome. Yeah, loving it.
Dude, I love it. Oh, it's so great. While you guys were doing that, I was doing some, music project on the weekend, and, Dash was like, Dad, can we go outside and do something? I'm like, too busy doing all this stuff. And then I check my phone and it's like, oh, Scott's climbing a mountain with his kids. I'm like, I'm playing the bass. Go away. Not really. But God, dude, it really hit me. I was like, oh, okay, I got to get outside with Dash. We got to do some stuff. Yeah.
It's hard though, isn't it? Like sometimes it's hard to do. It's easier to go and do something big.
Yes, for sure. Like
plant that freaking stake in the ground.
Right.
We're going to go do this freaking awesome thing.
Right.
It's big. It's much easier to do that rather than, Saturday afternoon and stories like, hey, do you want to do something? And what do you want to do then? Oh, I don't know, Dad. I'm like, oh, okay. So we do have to try and figure it out. So I'm trying to be more intentional about doing stuff, making it. Otherwise, we kind of sort of just waste the days a little bit.
Sit around and exactly. I know. Well, I definitely am guilty of that. And I mean, for me too, it's like I'm still balancing, trying to figure out how to do gigs and other content stuff, and and I find that I shove all that stuff into the weekend, and then I'm like, then I need another weekend. It's not good. It's not good.
Yeah, dude.
It's a struggle for me, man. I love doing it, but then I find that like, oh man, I am really missing out on opportunities to like hang out with my family, and I think like, oh, it'll be fine from here to here, I'll do, but it always takes longer. Last night, Emily was like, are you working too hard? I'm like, I am working too hard. Just trying to like fit it all in. You know what I mean? Fitting it all in. Because during the week, I'm SBL, baby, like full steam ahead. Yeah. And then on the weekend, I'm like, oh yeah, I can still do every other thing. Yeah. And sometimes
you got to get super militant with your time, don't you? Like I am. Well, I am. Have you seen my calendar? My calendar and there's upsides. The upsides are I squeeze every little ounce of, juice out of the week, everything. The downside is that I get zero downtime ever because within the week, somebody's like, oh, can we have a meeting about this thing? Well, like when have you said, oh, there's this guy, should we have a meeting with him? And I'm like, okay. My calendar, I'm like, well, like next Thursday between 1:30 and 2:30, that's free. Other than that, no, can't do it.
Other than that, 2025.
It's like a bit like that. So there's downsides to it, but I think that the downsides outweigh the upsides, and I think that I don't know. I'm like a massive fan of scheduling your time and making sure that you're spending the time on the stuff that's actually going to move the needle, because the stuff and this is true for bass playing as well and being a musician, because the stuff that you gravitate towards naturally because it feels like it's going to be fun and all of that stuff is often, not always, but often not the stuff that's going to make the difference. You know what I mean? It's like I use this analogy all the time, don't I? There's like 10 levers in front of us, 10 levers. And one of them levers is going to give you outsized results.
Right.
The other levers are going to give you meh crap result or whatever. And it even gets more interesting when you think that the 10 levers in front of you, some of them are going to give you, let's say you've got all of these opportunities in front of you. You've got 10 levers that you can pull in front of you. You're a station master. You're a station man. You've got these levers, right, that you can pull.
Yes.
10 of them, right? And some of them are going to give you, pitiful results, whatever. Results that don't actually matter in the big scheme of things.
Yeah.
But 3 of them are actually, because normally I say one of them is going to give you all the results, right? But let's say this time 3 of them is going to give you the results that you're looking for. Okay, so that's obviously we're like, okay, let's get rid of the 7. We're going to pull the 3, but you can only pull 1. You can only pull 1 of these 3. Here's the interesting thing: that of those 3, some of them are going to be really hard to pull. They're going to be incredibly hard to pull, and they all give you the same result though. But one of them is really easy. It's like an asymmetric shape. So like small input, large output. But some of them will be large input, and sort of like small output. So it's sort of like figuring out. I think that when you get into sort of like scheduling your time and thinking about not only scheduling your time, but then also the things that you plop into the time boxes that you create, making sure that the stuff that's going in the time boxes, you prioritize them in like an order of impact towards the actual goal that you're trying to accomplish, right? So yeah, I know that I'm really.
I suppose that would require setting goals.
You set goal. You're like,
yes, very good goal setter. I wonder.
You crushed it with the HX Stomp packs.
That's true. It was a long time coming.
Yeah.
It was a long time coming. Let me ask you this: Why do we? Asking for a friend here. Why do we pull the wrong levers, knowing? Now I'm saying levers. Jesus Christ! Why do we pull the wrong levers when we know that we're actually pulling? When we know if we move one hand over and pull this one, it's going to be an outsized result, as you would say. Why do we, for a friend, pull the wrong lever?
We're not logical. Because I don't think that for the most part we actually don't. We're really what's the word? Illogical the way that we think. Yeah. We actually think with what we want to do. I want to do this. I want to do that.
Feelies.
Yeah, or what's enjoyable. Like we've got a freaking awesome content team, right?
Yep.
Shout out to obviously Lydia, Sharon, Connor, all of the amazing editors that we've got. Great content team, right? And we have to check ourselves all the time. And you and Lydia and Sharon have just been brainstorming these sort of like meeting structures and stuff like that we're going to use weekly and stuff. And the reason why we need them in place is because if we just all got on a call, because we love creating,
it's carnage.
Like, let's just create awesome stuff. Let's just create awesome videos. We just like creating, so we have to get these things in place to help us, like frameworks in place and structures to help us think more logically about what we're trying to achieve.
It's so true.
Sometimes the answer is right there. Sometimes we're holding the answer in our hands, but because we want to go create something, we're like, I want to go create something. There's a guy called, I think Tiago Forte is his name, and he wrote something called, we're going down an entrepreneurial business sort of like rabbit hole here, but it was interesting. I was just listening to it yesterday, and he wrote a book called How to Build a Second Brain. I think that's what it's called. It's really interesting, actually. And his business was going through sort of like some hard times and stuff like that last year. They were trying to figure some stuff out, and he said he found an asset on the website, repackaged it, and sold it, and made hundreds of thousands of dollars out of it. And he said. And the lesson was, he said it had been sitting on his website for like 6 years.
Right.
But he just needed that little bit of pressure, that tension to like, oh shit, we need to really buckle up and we need to save this company. We need to do something special to sort of like refocus him in a different way. And he was like, that thing that's just been sitting there on the website for 6 years, maybe we could get that and repackage it in a different way. He did that, sold it as a product. hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Interesting.
And it's right there. And it could have been so easy, and would have been so easy for him to be like, "Oh, let's create something new. Let's go do this new thing." Because the new shiny object is always better than the thing that you've got.
Of course, but let me ask you this in terms of like let's bring it to bass players, and let's bring it to thinking about the choices we make as artists, because I'm not convinced that the outsized result lever is the one that artists always need to pull. I'm going to throw this back at you, because if you're thinking only business brain, think about this record that you just made. If you're thinking only business brain, you should have done a deep dive into Spotify Top 50, figured out what the best genre for getting the most exposure, for getting the biggest amount of sales, but you chose to make a fusion record.
Yeah.
Yes. And fusion. Because why?
Well, there is sort of like some secret. there's not a secret. There's a secret. What's the word? Something came to me. A question came to me actually a few weeks ago, and I was like, but why a fusion? So ultimately, because I'm a massive fusion fan, and it had a huge impact on me, and it was really why I picked up the bass, was listening to fusion music, listening to Alan Holsworth and Scuddy Sverrisson, listening to John Patitucci and the Chick Corea Band, listening to Tribal Tech, listening to all of that. And people don't make music like that. Not so much anymore at all. It's it moved in a completely different direction. And I wanted to kind of sort of like, a couple of different things. I love that music. I also had a great friend who loved that music as well. So Simon King loves that music.
Yes.
So when I pitched Simon on the idea, I was like, hey, we should do an album. How about doing a fusion album? No, unapologetically fusion. Let's just go do it. And he was like, yeah, because he loves it as well.
Yeah.
So that's part of it. And that's all of it, really. That's the most part. But I actually followed somebody for a while. I read a book of his, and he mentioned that one of his life goals was always to be in the Olympics. He had an injury, and had to quit his main sport. Yeah. And a year or so afterwards, he was like, he still had this freaking itch. He was like, I really want to, like, all of his childhood, he wanted to be in the Olympics, and he was like, I still really want to be in the Olympics. How can I do it? Because I can't do the sport because I've got this injury, so I can't do this particular sport anymore. So he thought to himself, and I love this idea, he thought to himself, well, I'm going to pick the easiest sport to do in the Olympics. The unpopular one that barely anybody does. Okay?
Sure, yes, so to get in.
Yeah, and he did, and he trained like a beast, and he got onto the team, and he went and did it, and he actually got and did the Olympics, and he did it. And although it wasn't sort of like a pure passion thing, he wanted to tick that box for his childhood, for that dream that he had in his childhood. Yeah, and I was like, and so he was really strategic about it. And I was thinking about him, and I was like, I wonder. And it could go the other way, right? It could be that nobody gives a shit about fusion music anymore, and nobody will listen to the album. But it also, what an easy lane. What an easy. I mean,
I know what you mean.
Is doing
exactly.
It?
Yep. Right.
Who else? Are there people like me that used to love fusion music when it was like, when lots of bands were doing it?
Of course there are. Of course. Yes.
Right. So actually, it might be sort of like a happy kind of sort of like a happy accident that, that, we might actually do relatively well within the jazz fusion sort of like world.
That's true.
So interesting. But yeah.
But you never would have chosen it had you not liked it. Like if you didn't like fusion, I mean, and there'd be no prayer, right? Because like playing it is so difficult.
The goal is different. Yes. I think that's where the goal matters, doesn't it? So what's the goal for the musician, for the artist, or whoever's trying to become better at whatever instrument? What is the actual goal that you're trying to reach? And then, reversing back from that and then asking yourself, of all of the levers I can pull, which ones are going to give me the outsized results to get me to that specific thing?
Back to goal setting, of course.
Yeah, it's the goal setting.
Yeah, no, and it's very cool. I wanted to shine a light on that because I think that I mean, yes, okay, who's doing it? That's a good point. Obviously, you're making content around it that'll go into the company. I mean, you'll be teaching these baselines. It'll be a part of SBL. But to me, this is like, it's cool because you took a risk on art. You took a risk on there probably were other levers that you could have pulled that would have been a bigger result financially. But this one you did because you liked it. And I think that's cool.
Yeah, like the financial side, I didn't take into consideration it was never a consideration. I was just sort of like, let's make something cool. Let's make something cool.
And don't you think you need that? Like as an artist, as a creator, it can't always be numbers. Maybe it should always be goals, but it can't always be numbers, right? Because what's the Seth Godin quote, right? If you just optimize, or if you just try to optimize.
You take any website and keep on optimizing it for clicks, every website would end up a porn site if you just optimize for clicks. So what you've got to do is have a vision, a goal that you're pointing towards, and then you optimize for that.
Yeah.
Numbers, that's where the numbers come into play. So I think the numbers are really important, but they have to point at the goal.
Yes.
Because if they don't point at the goal, that's when you start sort of like, falling off.
Just like more.
Yeah, you end up sort of like rapping on TikTok and you're like, oh, how did I? And that is sort of like, shade against any rappers on TikTok. You go do your thing. Like, I was actually listening to somebody recently who, what was his name? Let me have a look on my podcast library.
Dude, I'm going to go start rapping on TikTok now. I'll be like, when I rock the mic.
Killing it. And he is actually, I was listening to his, I'm just pulling up a podcast here. I was listening to, Connor Price.
I don't know Connor Price, no?
Go check him out. He's on YouTube as well. Let me just see. Let me just see how many subs he's got on there. Connor. So if you write Connor in YouTube, Connor Price comes up first.
Really?
He's got 2.2 million subs.
I would think it would be maybe like Conor McGregor.
I'll tell you the views on his last few. He looks like he does 1-2 a month, maybe, or maybe more. Actually, one a week. Okay, here's his views from last week.
Conor McGregor comes up first for me. It knows you, so it puts Connor Price first. Yes,
230,000, 390,000, 400,000, 130,000, 240. Like this guy's exploding. 400,000, 1 million. Like anyway, so. He went. I listened to a lot of. Business podcasts, and him and his wife or girlfriend, Brianna, I think her name was.
Yep.
Went on, dude. These guys were on fire from a business perspective.
Yep.
They're just like it was eye opening, and they are making about $300,000 to $400,000 a month on Spotify.
Great. What? How is that even possible? Doesn't Spotify pay you like in happy thoughts?
Well, that was
and pennies cut in half.
Like, well, she's sort of like so the girlfriend or wife. She's actually they've both got the same name, so it's the wife. So the wife is like a marketing nerd behind the sort of like the enterprise. And sort of like running the operations as well. So, and she was really pushing back against this. She was like, if you approach in the right way, you could make a lot of money on Spotify. It was, they're killing it.
But I mean, I look at this guy. I mean, okay, so here's the difference between you and me. I see this guy and I see him standing with his wife, and I'm sure and they're very beautiful and they're young, Canadian American rapper. And I'm like, why haven't I heard of this guy? And then I, hear, like business model on Spotify. And to me, it turns me off to wanting to listen to the music. Why?
It's because you think you feel like it's, so if you'd watched any of the videos, you'll love the videos. This is more up your street than my street. This is your line. They are possibly also creating a new style of, I guess, sort of like music creation, which is based on shorter form. Like it's so up your street. The turn off for you, I think, is knowing that, there's some freaking smart dudette behind the scenes who is measuring everything, and she understands exactly. And and it's the music and the content and how they're marrying the two to actually drive Spotify streams.
It's certainly not that it's a woman behind the scenes engineering. I mean, at least I hope I don't think it's that. But there is something that pings me a little like about like the married couple that does. I don't know. Maybe it's just from a little bit of my like burnout in CCM Christian world. Like, are these like I wonder if they're in that community? They look like they could be, but
no, he's killing as well.
Yeah. Okay, dude. Fine. I'll check it out.
Check it out, dude. Check it out. Anyway.
I'll be like, I'm the biggest Connor Price fan ever. I'll come back. You were right.
Yeah. We should talk about cabs. Let's switch gear.
Listen, I got so many thoughts about this. I'm sure you do too.
I do.
Where do we even begin?
So the question is, what we sort of like thought might be a great angle for this is, what are our favorite cabs specifically to gig with? And I mean, ... that you have to take to the gig yourself. Because if we sit here and we're going to sort of like suddenly gravitate towards, Ampeg B-15, 8, 10, well, great, wicked, right? But let's sort of like bring ourselves back down to sort of like, bring ourselves back down to earth.
Yes.
Favorite cabs to gig with. And what we've got is 3 categories, okay? Favorite size, favorite makes, and cabs that we've had bad experiences with, aka we hate.
Oh, you're talking about cabs we hate? Dude. I just hate these cabs. I think you need to add one more thing, though. I think size and speaker size are 2 different categories. Like, because there's 410s that are big and 410s that are compact. I think it should be size of enclosure and speaker size, actually.
Okay, so speaker size first, maybe?
Maybe. Yeah.
Speaker size, and then size of enclosure, maybe. Maybe that's sort of like one broader category.
I mean, okay, here's the deal. On the count of 3, we're both going to say the cabinet that we would have if, like, just the first one that comes to mind. You know what I mean? Like, not the brand, but just... what's the speaker configuration? Are you ready? 1, 2, 3, 410.
That one.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, shout out to Alex at Barefaced. What is that? What is that thing?
Dude, let me
you're mobile today. Yeah, what is this thing? It is his big baby. Big Twin.
3?
Big Twin 3. That's right. It's a 212 with a horn.
Yeah, it's a beast.
Yeah, it shakes the place.
If I will say, with the caveat of, even if I was sat here, okay, here's one for you, barefaced, or over there, you can't see that, 4x10 Eden. Non-ported.
You're asking me?
Yeah.
Barefaced. For sure. But I
know what you mean by the 410.
I come back to the 410 all the time. It's like a comfort zone for me. It's the cab, like I got a PV carpet covered 410 back in the day. I love it. And right now I'm playing a 212 that I really like, that Javier Sinobas made. Now his company's out of business. Supply chain, COVID. He called it quits. It's too bad, because he was so cool. He was so active on Instagram. I mean, he is still cool. I mean, he's still with us. His company isn't with us anymore, which is a bummer. But man, I'm playing one of his cabs that he sent over to me, 212s. It's very cool. But yeah, I don't know, the first one that I can think of.
212 in one cab, though, yeah?
Yeah, 212s in one cab. But it's way smaller than that Bareface. And it doesn't have, I mean, I think it has a tweeter, but it doesn't have that same big horn and same big port section. It doesn't sound like that cabinet. That cabinet is a monster.
It's a fucking monster. It shouldn't be called Barefaced. It should be called Bear Killer. Because you could kill bears with it.
Or like bear mace.
Or the Grizzly Mountains, whatever they're called.
The Grizzly Mountains, dude.
I'd be taking one of them with me in a freaking 5-string. Watch out, bears. Your mind's coming.
And I will say too, I mean, shout out to Alex at Bareface. It's fairly portable. I mean, you might be able to do a few steps in the woods.
Yeah, check it out. I went over there and I went to like move it, and I was like, oh, it's actually...
Yeah, it's not bad.
And it's got casters on it.
Yes, you can tilt it back.
Yeah, you can... At a stretch, you could... And bear in mind, I'm not like a, I was going to say I'm a weak human, but I'm not sort of like... I don't want to sort of like lug massive loads of gear around. Right. But you could definitely do that on your own. You could
for sure.
Yeah.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, that would be mine. That'd be mine. But I do know what you mean about 410s, specifically the kind of sort of like the tightness of the 10s. It's got it's a different response than 12s. It's a faster attack. It's just something.
Yeah. There's something too about, I always thought, as a kid, I always thought, 18s are going to give you all this bass, or 15s. And then you'd get one of those cabs and they kind of all sounded like this to me. And they didn't have the low end that I was looking for. And then some smart person told me about surface area of cone, and that if you have 4 10-inch speakers, that's going to produce more air. It's going to move more air than one 18-inch speaker because you have more cones working together. There's companies that have a bunch of little speakers, in a box working together. I've never been able to just get on board aesthetically with that stuff where there's a bunch of 6s in a box.
Some of them are heavy. The Phil Jones stuff is really heavy. At least it was back in the day. I love the design. It looked pretty cool, but you
like it? See, I cannot get on board.
I like the sort of I love the way that the EQ and stuff was laid out and the box and stuff. But I couldn't get away with the little speakers.
Yeah. I don't know. It just looks like I'm a giant man and the little tiny speakers. I've never been into it.
And they weren't super light either, right? So what's the point? I'm assuming there is a point. I'm just, I'll admit my ignorance here. But what's the point if they're not really light?
I think it's that argument of it's probably fast response, but there's a bunch of speakers. Yeah, so maybe. You have a fast response, but you've got all this bottom because there's a bunch of surface area of cone moving air. I'm sure they're great. I am often motivated more by aesthetics than I am with sound. Dude, if something looks terrible, it could sound the best and I won't even consider it. And that's on me. That's vanity and stupid, but it's true. It's true. If stuff just doesn't meet, and it could look fine for someone else, that's fine. But there's brands and makes and stuff that I'm no, I won't do it because I don't like the way it looks. And that's silly, but it's just true.
It's good that you're transparent about it. You can actually say it. So speaker size, 10s, cab size, 4x10, yeah.
For me, even though right now I'm playing a 212 and really enjoying it, but I had an experience on a gig where I brought my stuff, and then a guy had a backline and he had an SVT. He was like, "I've got an SVT rig on a backline." I'm like, "Oh, dude." He's like, "You can use it if you want." I'm like, "Great." Outdoors, plugged in. It was an SVT and a 410. And Ampeg's sort of bigger 410, and I plugged into it and played a couple of notes, and you know how I know it was awesome? Because everybody in the band went like this. They all looked at me and went, "Whoa!" And the guitar player was like, "Damn, that sounds good." No one has ever said that about my rig, and you know what I mean, in the band. I was like, "Oh, god damn it,
it's
SVT."
Weird, SVT got something going on. Yeah.
So cool.
Yeah. So I'm looking at our categories here. So what about actually, why haven't you got 2 1x12s just for portability? I'm sure that somebody's thinking that. Is it just circumstantial? You got a 2x12.
Because look, I am gonna offend people, and I'm sorry.
You better not say it's because it looks cooler.
2 little speakers stacked on each other? No, dude, I'm sorry. No,
you don't like the vibe. No,
I do. I do like the way that Vanderklay. Here's the thing. I like the way the Vanderklay head presents. I like the way that rig sounds. But if I were going to buy that rig, the head I think is absolutely beautiful and minimal and lovely. But I personally don't want the red baffle, and I would want a bigger cabinet, like a more big cabinet. Yeah, like I would want something that was contained in one thing. I don't like the look of the modular 212 where you're stacking 112s, and everybody does it, and it's all good.
That's what I do. Yeah, I do 2 Trickfish 12s. Yeah.
And you like that? Do you dig the sound? You like the vibe? You like the way it looks? You go back and you look at it. You go, God,
I like that. Like, I think the bare face. Like, I've got a car situation. My car, I can't fit, Oh, yeah, dude. I've got a fancy ass car that I can't fit any freaking cabs in. I know what's behind that laugh, Alison. I'm not for you.
Dude, we're going to have to do a whole pod dedicated to your car. And how when you accelerated in it with me and I was watching my phone hit me in my face because it was so fast.
It's a little nippy.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, like if I could fit the bare face in the car, the bare face would be going in. Maybe I could actually, but I'd do the bare face.
Squeeze it in there, man.
On gigs, I'm doing two Trickfish 1x12s. Sounds good.
Yes,
but it hasn't got the breadth that bare face has got. That just sort of like angry bear kind of like, it's just that felt so. Can you remember in the studio where we put that bare face against the 2x12s?
Yeah.
So what we did 2 Vanderklay 2x12s against the one bare face cab 2x12. It was like a different universe.
It was. Yeah, it was
crazy.
And the Vanderklay stuff sounds awesome, but it's more like great. It's like tighter, politer. Yeah. The bare face is crazy. And also, hey man, shout out to Trickfish, because those guys make really cool stuff. They also make they're coming out with new stuff. I played some of their new stuff at NAMM and it was very cool. I've got one of their little 112s under my studio desk that I rock for like just, my little in studio spot. But here's the other thing, dude. I have never been convinced that small cabs at a gig work as well as like a big cab. People are like, oh yeah, man, you stack up those 112s and it's awesome. I don't know. For whatever reason, I think I played some gig once where I played through somebody's rig and they had a couple of 112s. I think it was Aguilar and it sounded good, but it just didn't give me I just want the bottom. You know what I mean? I want it to feel like it's moving underneath me. One of my favorite rigs though from Aguilar is their old big heavy 410 and the DB750. That rig is monster.
Yeah, that's the rig, isn't it? I think Dream giggable rig, DB750 on a bare face.
It would be.
What are these called again? What are these?
That is a big twin 3.
Big twin 3. God damn, that would be a great rig. Yeah.
But I will tell you, man, the Aguilar DB750, for how beautiful it is the heaviest 42 pounds. I think it weighs 42 pounds.
It's a beast.
I was just like, good God. Like, it's the heaviest 42 pounds I've ever lifted in my life.
It's all
Love you, Aguilar. But man, oh man, that's a heavy. Yeah.
Can I ask like an offshoot question?
Yeah.
Have you ever played through a cab that really surprised you, where you were like, whoa, that was interesting? You just weren't expecting it to be as good as it was. Now, obviously, you spoke about the SVT, but is there any other cabs that you played through and you were just like, wow, that I expected that to be really terrible, and it actually was freaking awesome. It might not be, as good as like a 4x10 or whatever your dream rig is, but just it was really surprising to you.
Yeah.
I've got two.
You got two?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll give you mine. I played a guy's orange rig at a gig. It was on Backline, and I had never. I mean, I've always thought those were cool, but I don't know. Like, I've never really considered it. And like, the guy had an orange rig. It was their, it was like the 200-watt tube head, and then I think it was just 15s or something. And I don't think I'm like, I'd never like 15s. And then sometimes I'll plug into a 15 that I'm like, oh, damn, this sounds really good. So yeah, I guess for me, it was an orange rig. I think it was just a single 15, kind of a big cabinet, and that head, it sounded awesome to me. And I know there's others, but that's the one that comes to mind. What about for you?
For me, one's over here. That bag end down there.
Oh yeah, dude.
That bag end 15
was ELF technology, baby.
I say was. Past tense, because I just sort of I killed it. It's dead. That was a beast.
I remember those.
It was just, remember them? Like, everybody played. Tucci played them. Elaine Caron. Everybody played the bag end stuff, right? The bag end, that 115, I gigged it to death. It's as heavy as sin, but it's 115. It's tiny. You can throw it. It's just like solid.
Yeah, right.
Throw it downstairs. It's going to survive, right? So that I was really surprised by.
Huh.
And then, isn't it interesting that both of us had this weird, surprising kind of experience with 15s, and the other one was a 15 mark bass cab as well.
Yeah,
that was badass. That was awesome, and it was super light.
Crazy.
Mark bass. I bet you've never owned one because it's yellow.
Listen, you called me out, dude. That's the thing I was thinking of. I mean, look, like, they could sound better than anything I've ever played. I can't hang. And it's not just the color yellow, because I love the banana bass, but it's sort of the like industrial or like construction site vibe.
Vibe, isn't it? Yeah.
It's man, and I get real persnickety about font. I mean, and that is on me. So anybody listening that's like, oh, Ian thinks Mark bass is bad. No, I'm bad. I'm the one that's bad. I'm just like, I will show Emily stuff and I'll be like, what do you think of this? And she's like, it'll be an amp or a bass or a headstock or a logo. And she's like, what do you mean? And I'm like, just look at it. Look at this stupid font. And she's like, you're an asshole.
But dude, the Mark bass, those 1x15 cabs, I recommended them to so many people for so long, because they were like, and they've gone up in price now, I think, but like back in the day when they first launched, they were really affordable. Yeah. And they were giggable. You could do a gig with 115.
Yeah, that's cool.
They were cheaper than 2x12. So when somebody came to me and they were like, I have no money, I need a cab to gig with.
Yes, that's loud, that can do it.
That can do it. I'll be like, 115 mark bass.
Yeah. There it is, and just suffer that it's covered in carpet. Maybe they're not covered in carpet anymore.
Maybe not.
They have those interlocking big plastic corners and.
Oh, they had the plastic corners, yeah.
No. Like, I want a bass manufacturer. Hey, anybody out there that's thinking about building cabinets, there are enough people out there that want design inspiration from classic guitar brands. That's something that I feel like bass just doesn't look at. Who's making stuff that looks cool like Marshalls? Who's making stuff that looks cool like Hiwatt, Vox? It's all this, like, bass players are in this sort of like, well, it needs to be rugged, and so we're going to make it look like, hard hats. And dude, it kills me. I want an aesthetic that throws back to like vintage guitar era. But again, that's just because I'm a jerk.
Shout out to Noble. I think that their branding and the heads and the preamps and I just think it looks so awesome.
Do you know too that Jack Roan won't make those heads anymore? Because you know what that dude does to make the heads? Talk about pulling levers. That dude goes out to the wood store and buys wood
and stuff. Yeah.
And like, and makes the head boxes.
So he figured out that lever is really hard to pull.
Yes.
Results are not going to be great.
I know.
Well, and actually, the results are going to be great, but the financial sort of like side of it ain't going to be so great for him. Yeah.
When he made me my first, he made a big noble head, the white one. I ended up giving that back to him, and I have now a smaller black one that I play a lot in. It's killing. But when he made that, I was like, oh man, are you going to, do you want me to do a campaign on this? You should like, let's go, let's sell some of these. Let's do it, And he was like, let's hold off because they're so brutal to make. And he said to me, I think he charged, when I bought mine, I think he charged $2,000 for them. And he was like, I would need to charge so much more to make it worth my time. And I was like, then do it. He was like, I can't actually in good conscience. I was like, what would you need to charge? And I think, he was like, I don't know, $4,000 or something. I'm like, do it. People will pay that. And he's like, I can't do it. And so, there again, me being like, just because I do think it's worth it, actually. A hand-built cabinet, the Noble Pre inside with whatever power module he uses. I think just the ice might be something different. Man, I think it's worth it. But he's like, I can't in good conscience do that. And I think that's cool. Jack Roan. I think
you should do it. Dude, we've got to switch gears because Alan's going to kick me in the butt in a minute because we've got a live stream. We've got a live stream in 15 minutes. We need to give time to sound.
He's like nervous over there.
Give us your top. Give us the top cabs that you just had bad experiences with, where you just like, when you turn up on a gig and you're like, oh no, or you're worried, or you've just never had a good experience with. And I do apologize about the people that I'm about to mention. I do, but today, I just haven't had a good experience with them.
There was a church gig that I used to play that had a house rig, and it was a SWR amp that went into a GK.
It's on my list. It's on my list, dude.
It is. Yeah. And I just look. Maybe I don't want to throw any company under the bus. I guess maybe I just have, but I had to work really hard to get it to it was so bright. And I don't know if that was coming from SWR head or the GK cab, but man, I'm turning down tweeters. I'm turning down treble. I'm really trying to make this thing sound warm and useful for me because it was just wildly bright. I guess that's the zone for me. I've played some SWR stuff that's killing, but yeah, man. I think the Triad 410 actually I've played that cab some and really enjoyed it. The old silver grill.
Dude, I just have not got on with any of that stuff. Like
SWR?
Do you know the combo, the 210 combo with the red front?
The redhead, yes.
I fucked the redhead. Seriously.
No.
I've turned up on gigs and I'm like, oh no. I just can't get away with it. Now, it might be that they're just a house rig and they've just been gigged to death because at one point in time, everybody was like, oh, get the redhead, but I just have, I've had bad experiences. And then also I had a 4x10. I bought a 4x10 as well, SWR 4x10, and it couldn't get away with it. Whatever I did.
I didn't like it.
Yeah, and the one I had before, that was a heart key. Freaking heart key. Silver cones, dude. Your favorite, obviously. The silver cone heart key with XLT, 2 ports, like 100 million pounds of weight.
Yep.
And that thing killed. It was awesome.
Dude,
it was another level compared with the SWR.
Dude, I have love for Hartke, actually. Like those original cabs, those original 410s, I think are pretty sick. Also, real quick shout out to Eden. Original Eden that was built in Montrose, Minnesota. Man, did you ever play Eden rigs?
Dude, I had an Eden combo. I had an Eden 2x10. I killed it. I'm looking right. It might be downstairs dead. Yeah, with mice freaking nested in it. I just them speakers got torn to shreds.
It would be worth someday talking about what happened. Why did Eden go away? Why did SWR sort of fall? Why did Bag End? Bag End was the huge thing, and why did it just suddenly just gone now.
Yeah,
I don't know. It's really interesting how that stuff comes in and out of fashion. But
I will say as well, just talking about like stuff that we struggled with, I've always struggled with Ashdown stuff as well, actually.
Oh.
And I don't know whether it's me, because some like friends and stuff love that stuff.
Yeah.
Love it. But like for me, I've always struggled with it. Getting like the sound I'm hearing in my head is not the sound coming out of that.
Coming out of the speaker.
Yeah. And I think it might be a style thing.
Sure.
Maybe it's like it's definitely, I don't think that was the case with the SWR. The SWR just wasn't performing like I wanted it to do.
Yeah.
I was like, it's just not, whereas the Ashdown stuff, I just couldn't get the sound. I was like.
Maybe sort of like darker, maybe a little like, I don't know, more like voiced toward rock and roll or something.
Yeah, maybe like completely different school of sound. That's what I experienced. But I've had, not enough sort of like time with them to make that call, really. Again, because we've got like Rob Malarkey's used Ashdown for a bunch of years.
Yeah.
And he's
Guy Pratt.
Guy Pratt. There's some great players, yeah. But just for me, I just couldn't get the sound. Anyway, dude, we're going to have to bounce. Otherwise, Alan's going to put us on the naughty list. We're on the naughty list.
Sorry, Alan.
He'll be bad. Oh, Alan just said we're already on the naughty list. Guys,
too late.
Yeah. Thanks so much for listening. Obviously, as I said, look out for the bass giveaway that's coming up soon. Again, I'm going to get a banana bass commissioned for the winner, identical to the bass that I used for the album. And if you don't like the colour, you can have it in whatever colour you want. We're also giving away a brand new 5-string Ken Smith, which is a beast. We're giving away a 6-string F bass in beautiful charcoal grey. It's gorgeous, and a bunch of other stuff as well. So definitely keep a lookout for that. And we'll see you on the next one very soon. Take it easy. Bye.
Take care, everybody.